Hey everybody, I'm Jefferson Graham and I've got the iPhone 17 Pro Max here and 17 pro settings that you want to make sure that you're using to set up your phone the right way for great travel photography. So if you're ready, let's dive in. Let's start off by going to settings and going down to the camera section. First thing we're going to see here at the top is camera control, and it asks us a bunch of questions. Of course, camera control is the new button that we got on the 16 on the side of the phone that gives you quicker access to turn on the phone, to turn on the camera, I should say. And two things here very important: lock, focus, and exposure. This lets you do something that you could do in the camera app on the button, which is lock, focus, and exposure. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Next up, photographic styles. This is where you can add filmic-like simulations to your photos. I prefer to do this after the fact. I don't like to have them baked in, even though you can adjust them. I prefer what you see is what you get. Next is record video. You get a whole lot of questions here. 4K video is 4 times the file size of 1080p. Okay? And so if you have a phone with 256 gigabytes of storage, you're going to run out of room quicker than most people. So you're probably going to want to shoot HD as opposed to 4K. If you've got more room, go for the 4K, or if you're one of those people who are very good about moving files off your phone right away, then definitely do 4K. But a minute of video is about 100 megabytes at 1080p, and a minute of video at 4K is 440 megabytes. So that gives you an idea. There's a lot of stuff going on. I like 4K 60 frames per second because 60 frames per second is a nice smooth shot, and I like it that way. Give it a try. Either way, now you know what to do there. Going down the screen, action mode lower light is opt-in. And that basically says that when you use action mode, you can actually do it in lower light. So yes, of course, I'm all for that. And the next one is HDR video high efficiency. I recommend leaving it off. HDR video is very hard to edit and will cause you a lot of pain. So I would stay away from that. At the bottom of the screen, lock camera and lock white balance are both opt-in. You definitely want to turn those on, particularly lock white balance. I've gone into rooms that have been like tungsten light and everything turns orange, and then you click on the adjust white balance and all of a sudden it looks good, and then you turn the corner. This is when you're shooting video, of course. And then you turn the corner and then it gets orange again, and then you have to start putting your fingers all over the screen. This way, once you've set it, it stays in place. Okay, record slow-mo. Definitely go for the highest resolution possible, which is 4K at 120 frames per second. Hopefully you have enough room for that, but it's going to look awesome. Record cinematic. Cinematic mode is like portrait mode. For video, it blurs the background, and I would always rather do it, my choice, 4K rather than 1080p. But again, it depends on how much room you have on your phone. Formats. Okay, there's a lot of gobbledygook here. Most compatible is JPEG. High efficiency is a smaller file size called HEIC. Photo mode, again, I'm going for 24 megapixel versus 12 megapixel for the higher resolution. ProRAW, shooting RAW on the iPhone gives you a higher resolution file that is unprocessed and way more detail, and it's a way bigger file. But if you don't click the button on, you won't even be able to shoot in ProRAW. And then underneath there are 3 kinds of JPEGs that you're given a choice of. The JPEG XL Lossy offers improved compression over traditional JPEG, and it's a slightly smaller size. Going down again, ProRes is like ProRAW for video, and you won't be able to use it. You probably never use it, but you won't be able to use it unless you click the button. Next up is preserve settings, and I will turn every last one of these babies on. Basically, what it means is the last time you were doing something and you chose a look, you'll get to keep on using that look without having to start from scratch. So definitely turn those on. underneath there, use volume up for burst. This is very important. I don't understand why Apple makes you opt in for this. If you keep your finger down on the shutter button, on the volume up button, you can take a series of really quick action shots, which you also could do by pressing the shutter on the phone, but that's a lot more finicky. So definitely volume up for burst. Now let's go to composition. Why Apple leaves these as opt-in, I'll never understand. Grid is very important, and so is level. Let's open up the camera here so you can see. Let's go to selfie mode. Here I am. Do you see the lines on the screen? Okay. And then the grid, see how I'm changing I'm turning the camera here and there, and it's telling me when the camera is straight on. I find that really important, and why they don't want you to do that and keep it a secret, I'll never know. The next one is mirror front camera. That one, you know how in a selfie you have words on your screen somewhere and it'll say, for instance, iPhone, and it's spelled ENOHPI instead of the regular iPhone way? That's because it's shooting backwards. If you leave off mirror front camera, you won't have that problem. Indicators, those little icons at the top of your screen that say flash and live photo and action mode and dual capture. Yes, I want to see them. I want to know this. I want to know this. Dual capture is the new feature on the new iPhones that let you shoot on both cameras at the same time, and will put a little picture-in-picture of yourself over the on the side of the screen. To me, it's like the old videos that had the timestamp blinking all the time, and you're baked in and you're stuck with it. So it's not something I'm jumping up and down for, but I could change my mind. Who knows? Okay, so I've got some new things to show you here. In the selfie camera, auto zoom and auto rotate. Now the thing about the selfie camera is that when you take a picture like this and you have people in the shot, it will go like that and widen it. And for the first time, we're going to have a wider camera. Now, do you want Apple to auto rotate for you? I think you do. So that's a definite yes. Next door is night mode on or off. Definitely for selfies, off, because when you do night mode in the dark, it asks you to hold the camera still, and if you have a group of people standing still for 3 seconds, that's going to be really rough. Next up is flash. I always recommend turning that off. And next to that is live photos. I don't think you need to do live photos for selfie. And then the 6 dots right here, flash, live, timer, exposure, styles, aspect ratio, and night mode. Again, flash, always off. Always off. Live, I like to have on, not for selfies, but for stills. That's where you get an extra 3 seconds of video, and you can do some cool special effects like long exposures. Timer, I'm really happy that timer is easier to be accessed now, because I use timer all the time. Exposure, increase, decrease, yes, thank you very much, because Apple doesn't always get it right. Styles, we talked about. Aspect ratio, that's square, that's 4:3, and that's 16:9. And I think 16:9 looks awesome on a iPhone beautiful high-resolution screen. 4:3 is the standard. I do everything in 16:9 because I make videos, and videos are in 16:9. Night mode is when they leave the camera open, the camera shutter open for longer at nighttime and help you get great shots in the dark. Not for selfies. Let's flip it. All those extras like time-lapse and slow-mo and cinematic, they've been streamlined. Now it just says video and photo, which I think is what 90% of the people want to do. But how do you get to the old ones if you still want them? You put your finger down on the screen. All right, so that's 17 great settings that you want to be using on your new phones, as well as some bonus features. I'm Jefferson Graham. Thank you for watching. Any questions, any comments, please leave them directly below in the comments section. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of PhotowalksTV.